I am not a professional. I'm just telling you my experience piercing my nose, really. So I'm just here telling you what I did. So please don't take this as a professional advice. Just do your research, like I said, before you go ahead and pierce your nose. So let's do this video, because honestly I just filmed for 30 minutes and I wasn't recording. So here we go again. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rito and thank you so much for coming back to watch my video. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I make fashion videos and other lifestyle videos, so if you're interested in seeing stuff like that, I hope you subscribe. So I don't know if you guys have noticed in my last video, but I pierced my nose, and one of the reasons why I haven't been filming a lot is because I didn't want to. Most of the videos I wanted to film, I probably would want to wear makeup, and I didn't want to put makeup on my face, and I'll explain to you why very soon. I have been wanting to pierce my nose for the longest while. I just wanted to pierce my nose. I just thought it was cute. I always just saw it and I thought it was cute. At first I was like, maybe I don't have the nose for it. But come on, look at it. I was actually, if I'm being honest, I was afraid of my daddy. I was scared that he was going to be upset, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a daddy's girl. I'm always worried about disappointing my dad. But anyway, I decided to do it anyway because I'm a 31-year-old, and in case my father is watching this, I'm not saying that I have passed your power now. I'm just saying that I'm grown. I didn't give it too much of a thought by the time I decided I was going to pierce my nose, because I knew that if I think about it too much, I'm not going to do it. That's one. Two, it helped that I didn't have to book an appointment, because I could just walk into the shop and tell them that I wanted to pierce my nose, and I just needed to arrive there before 30 minutes before they closed. That's the only condition they had. But before then, I did my research, like extensive research, probably for 2 weeks. So that's another thing. If you want to pierce your nose, please do your research. And not just anything online. Find people who are like professional tattoo artists. They are always also very vast, and they are experienced with the whole piercing situation. So find all those people. There is a guy on YouTube that I always went to like watch him and hear what he had to say about piercing and everything. When I was doing my research, I will try to link his videos in my description bar below. It's very important to do the research. So one of the things that I learned before I went for the piercing was, one, to start with a stud. He said that it was better because you would not be, you are less likely to pull on it. Maybe if it grabs on something, or your hands or your fingers or your jewelry or something, you are less likely to pull on it. And also it's just better so it doesn't get infected. That I wasn't going to start with a nose ring because it's new. I just wanted to try something that was a little understated, and then see if I really like it before I went for a nose ring. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that, but for now I'm fine with my stud. The second thing I learned before I went there was to make sure not to allow them to start with a gun, that they should pierce your nose rings with the needle. So when I went there and asked them what they were going to use for the piercing, the guy said he was going to use a needle, and that made me feel better because I felt like he really knew what he was doing. Everything was very sanitary. It looked clean. Everywhere was clean. Before we started it, he was wearing his gloves and everything, so I felt really good. That's another thing. Go to a professional. I know sometimes you compare the price, which it really wasn't expensive. I only had to pay, I think it was 7,000 forints for the piercing. But sometimes there are other places that are cheaper, like corner places that are cheaper. But honestly, it's your nose. It's right in the middle of your face. Do you really want to go and pay 2,000 for it for someone to in a dirty place, and then they will pierce it and you have this big old thing going on your nose? So I did mine in a place called West End Tattoo. It's right on the ground at the West End Mall here in Budapest. How painful is it? Now, to be honest with you, my pain threshold is quite high. I am not very scared of needles or pain or anything. If I want to do it, I mean, I have 7 piercings. Like, if I want to pierce, I will pierce my nose or whatever. I'll do it if I want to do it. But honestly, it wasn't as big. But of course, I can tell when something is painful. Just is my threshold for actually taking the pain that is different from other people, but it wasn't that painful. There is pain, of course. You're piercing something on your skin, there's going to be pain, but the guy was very gentle. He told me that it was going to be a little bit painful and uncomfortable, but it was going to be fine, and he was going to be fast and gentle. So he did that, and it was really, really, it literally took him 2 minutes to finish the piercing, cleaned me up, and then gave me the instruction of what to use. Now, as for the aftercare and what to expect after it, for me personally, the guy gave me the name of a cream to get to rub on it and to keep it moisturized and everything. But I had already done my research before I got there, and I knew that most of the professionals advise, and even some people on YouTube who have actually pierced a lot, advise to keep the cleaning and the hygiene around the place simple, not to put too many things on the piercing. As it's an open wound, you want to keep it simple. So basically, distilled water and sea salt, uniodized sea salt, very important. So I get my distilled water from DM, which is like 400 forints, I think, for a 500, no, not 500, for a 5 liter bottle, 400 forints for distilled water, and it lasts me for a week plus. And I just pour it into a bowl. I have a special bowl for it. I pour it into a bowl, and 1 teaspoon of the sea salt. I make sure to stir and make sure that there's no granules of the salt, and then I dip my nose in it. I make small but little bubbles in it so the water can kind of go in and rinse the other side of the piercing. But very important to breathe through your mouth, because if you're not breathing through your mouth, you will actually breathe the water in, and it's painful. It's not the first time I got that, it's really painful. So you want to really, really breathe through your nose and make small bubbles. The other guy that I follow, that I actually really, really learned a lot of stuff before I went to go and do my piercing, also said to keep it for 3 minutes. For the first few weeks, you should keep your nose in the warm water, in the distilled water, for 3 minutes to kind of really, really disinfect everything and clean it. Very important to keep it clean, very important. Don't touch it with your dirty hands. Don't touch it if your hands are not clean. Do not move the jewelry all over the place. Of course, that's why the advice is start with a stud. And why it is important to go to a professional again is because a professional knows that they need to, now between the stopper of the stud and the end of and your skin, he needs to leave a space in between, so that when the nose is kind of swelling, the area is swelling, it gives it space to expand. The swelling is totally normal for the first few days. You're going to experience some swelling, not very noticeable, but you will see it if you look at it. Another person might not really notice it, because mine wasn't noticeable to other people. I just felt it and I knew, and you're going to feel like it's a little bit hot there, but that's okay for the first few days. Now, if it persists for weeks, then maybe something is wrong, or if the swelling is very noticeable by other people, then maybe something is wrong. Maybe you should go back to them to tell you what to do. Don't move the jewelry all around, because it's very bad for the healing process. It's going to slow down the healing process. You are prone to getting infected and all that. If you're light skinned, you're gonna see a little bit of redness when it is at the beginning stage, and if you're darker skin, you might not really see redness. Of course, when you're darker, you don't see redness that much, and that's one of the things. Another thing to keep in mind is that when it is healing, when it starts to heal, if your skin can actually show, if you're not really, really dark, you can see that around the piercing there is a little bit, your skin begins to get a little bit dark. That's totally normal. As you wash, as you clean up and everything, you will notice that it starts to peel off, and that's fine. At first, I was really scared as to why was it like a little darker around my piercing. Another thing is, do not wear makeup, or rather do not put makeup directly on the piercing or on the stud or anything. If you really have to wear makeup few days, I would say wait a week before you wear makeup. But if you really have to, then you have to really avoid that area, because you need to keep it clean. And I got my piercing beginning of January, maybe second week of January, and I didn't wear makeup till today. Today is the first day that I'm wearing makeup after about 4 weeks of my piercing. So that is one thing to keep in mind. You need to keep your products, your moisturizer, whatever you're putting on your face, needs to stay away from the pierced area for a while, because you can actually irritate it. Now, as for keloids, some people are so lucky and they never get keloid, but I'll be honest with you, aside from my second piercing, all the piercings that I've had a little bit of keloid, and it just kind of went away. My skin just kind of, I don't know what happened, but it just kind of, I ignored it and just kind of went away. And it didn't grow so big that you can actually notice. It's only when I touch it that I feel that something is there. So it didn't really grow so big. But on my nose, I was quite afraid. There is a big chance that you might get it no matter what you do, and there's also a chance that you will not get it. But if you are prone to keloid, you might get keloid on your nose reel. How big is it? How big it gets, I can't tell you why it gets bigger. I read that if it's infected, then it can be bigger than it should have been. And if maybe your skin, I don't know, maybe your skin or you have something that just makes you prone to keloid. I did get keloid, and I'm doing something that is actually shrinking it. So I'm not going to mention to you what I'm doing or what I'm putting on it that's shrinking it, because I want to make sure that it's really working and it actually takes it off. It's not noticeable anymore, and then I will come back and explain to you what I did and for how long and what you should do with that before I can tell you what I'm doing. But you might get a little bit of keloid, and you have to do your research to know what it's gonna take for you to take it away. And hopefully yours is not going to be that big. Mine wasn't noticeable. Like, I had to really come closer when I was showing someone, like, oh look, I have a keloid, and I had to really come close for the person to notice that I have it. Now after a while, even when you don't feel any pain or anything, maybe sometimes you might pull on it or touch it by mistake, and it's gonna happen. You're gonna touch it by mistake or pull on it by mistake, and it's gonna start to hurt again. That's okay. All you have to do is just make sure that every time you're keeping it clean. As long as this thing is clean, you don't have a lot of things to worry about, really. Another thing I do is, aside from the bubbles that I blow to clean the inside, I make sure to clean my nose with a tissue and avoid the stud, but I do clean to make sure it's clean. And I also use a cotton bud. Some people are against that, so you do that at your own discretion. But I use a cotton bud and dip it in my salt water, and I kind of clean around the inside of the stud to just make sure that it's clean. Now it's going to, sometimes you get crust around the nose. That's okay. It's just your body's normal way of reacting to something that is, pierced on your face. All you have to do, don't scratch it. They advise against scratching the crust. All you have to do is dip your face again in that saline water, and then when it is soft, it either would fall up, or you can use a cotton bud to just kind of gently take it out. I use a cotton bud to also gently wipe around it when I'm doing my skincare routine, because I don't want to put anything that is going to irritate it. Avoid alcohol around it. People would insist on using alcohol on it, and they say not to use it. Just the basic saline water is perfect, like the distilled water and the sea salt is just enough for you to clean it and keep it clean. Now some people say to keep it moisturized, you should use a mixture of coconut oil and tea tree oil. I didn't use that because usually when I use coconut oil anywhere near my face, I break out. So I was afraid of what it will do. I feel like maybe my skin in the face is not coconut oil friendly, so I didn't use that because I was afraid. I thought maybe the tea tree oil by itself was too harsh on the wound and everything, so I didn't use that. I just used the cleaning method, and that's it. So if you have any questions about the whole piercing situation, and you want to ask me like specific questions, and you want to ask me further questions, tell me about your experiences and all that, just write it in the comment section, and I will definitely reply you and give you answers that you're looking for. But do I like it? Absolutely, I love it. Am I going to keep it? Yes, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to change my store later in the future. But that's it. That's all I have to say about my piercing, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you can subscribe and come back, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.